This stage 5 sees us in a hallway of the mansion. The heroines found while wandering the forest. This is Aente, otherwise known as the House of Eternity, and this stage is very taxing for me visually because I fail at one very crucial aspect of dodging bullets. Dodging. Well, no, it's not that bad. I just have trouble avoiding crossfire. Yes, I get caught up in it like the commercial tells me to. Moving on. Before I say anything else, though, I would like to point out that this stage has ninja rabbits in it! Very clearly the most awesome thing yet. Ninja rabbits. Okay, they're not really ninja, but they are rabbits, because Aente has tons of them. Literal tons. Due to the mansion being nestled away in the bamboo forest, though, it makes getting there difficult, to say the least. Hardly anyone knows the way to Aente from the human village, and most of the people that do keep their mouths shut. Sorry, Lagophiles, you're in for a rough ride. There's a reason for why it's hidden away, but it's a secret. That implies that certain people are not allowed to find out, which is 100% true. This is also why the aforementioned rabbits are so stalwart in their defense. They're on orders to protect a certain party. And the people who already know this are like, damn it, Joiner, I know this already, get to the point! But alas, I cannot, for that is not how this works. Once members of the party show up, then I can and will talk about them, but until then, I will tide you over with droll facts and figures about the rabbits. Here is Tei Inaba. I'm gonna do something different with her. Since she doesn't really have any dialogue here and just flat out assaults you with the crossfire that I despise so much, I'm going to save her profile for the next game. All you need to know until then is that she is a rabbit and she commands the legions of rabbits you saw before. She also oversees the making of mochi. Mochi being a rice cake pounded and shaped into various forms for snacking. This is why you sometimes see Tei drawn with a hammer. The rabbit's prime directive is pounding this mochi. Since this is usually just a two-person job with one person with the hammer and the other person maintaining the moisture and stickiness of the cakes, just imagine how many rice cakes Aente can pump out weekly if they decided to go into the bakery business, say. Now, remember the printworks I mentioned back in the intro video? A majority of Touhou Bogetsu show happens within these walls. Inaba the Moon, Inaba the Earth is essentially a day-to-day life of the residents of Aente. It's not exactly considered canon because even though it is an official work, with Zun having been given credit for base settings and characterizations, it's still considered a fanbook. Of course, the phrase official fanbook in itself is oxymoronic, so it can be a little bit confusing distinguishing this series apart from the other doujin comics, especially given the ambiguity of the term fanbook in this sense. I'm probably just confusing you even further. This is the one long hallway. As a matter of fact, it seems too long. What is with stage 5 and long anything? All of a sudden we hear a confident, "You're too late! I've already sealed all the doors, you'll never reach her now!" And before we can question who her is, we are confronted by two of the aforementioned party. Reisen Udongen Inaba, and the other person we'll get to later. First off, that is a really bizarre name. I don't think I'll ever become accustomed to it. Reisen is another rabbit, but unlike Tei and the other rabbits, who are earthen rabbits, Reisen is a rabbit from the moon. That's right, moon rabbits! What's next, the new guys say? The moon is made of cheese? Well, I don't know about cheese, but there is a C on the moon, as shown in Silent Sinner. But I'm getting ahead of myself. Reisen is currently a refugee from the altercation following the events of Apollo 11 about 43 years ago, when the humans first landed on this moon's Sea of Tranquility. She's been living here ever since, meaning she's at least 43 years old. But she doesn't even look half that, except for the formal wear. I'd be lying if I said I didn't like her outfit. It's fresh, and the suit makes her stand out against the ocean of dresses forever in Gensokyo. So, Reisen has the ability to manipulate wavelengths. Any type of wave, be it light or sound or even brain waves, would be up for grabs. What she does is stretch and compress these wavelengths at will, and they have adverse effects on various things in terms of perception through hearing and vision. It would not be a far stretch to say that the moon has these properties as well, since she does state that her eyes contain, quote-unquote, Luna's power. A compression of these waves induces insanity and illusion, and a rarefaction, that's the opposite, that causes idling. When she doesn't want to be seen or heard, she can invert the waves and vanish from one sight or hearing. This gives her a distinct air of mystery, as well as a potential and invaluable role as some sort of stealth agent or a scout for information.
I find this unbelievably cool because of, you know, the thing I went on about ninja rabbits, which makes it such a shame that this isn't looked into more often. A short while after the full version of Imperishable Night was released, at Comic Hits 70 in the summer of 2006, a doujin comic was released. You might know the name of it. It is called Drunkards in Ayante by Chicken. The premise was what you might expect. There's a feast in Ayante, everyone gets drunk and starts fighting, and the house is left in shambles. Particularly Ray-sen, who amidst all of this craziness spouts the infamous line, "I'm just a useless bunny, only good for sex appeal." And out of everything in the comic, that is what caught on. It spread like wildfire throughout the Western fanbase, and soon you couldn't even listen to her theme on YouTube without scrolling down to the comments and seeing her being made into the butt-monkiest of butt monkeys. That is not a word, but oh well. Honestly, I don't even think Mei Ling had it as bad as Ray-sen did, and that is saying something. And it was all because of one doujin comic. The power of one. That is incredible, in all of the senses of the word. That is an achievement, yet nothing worth achieving. Unbelievable, but for the wrong reason. Before I can think of any more words synonymous with let's move on. Perhaps because of her ability, Ray-sen hasn't really been seen in action. And if she has, according to her dialogue, she's not above cracking a couple of heads open. Mentally, of course. She's not very social otherwise, so we don't know how bad the illusion she triggers can get at this point in time. Not to mention by human standards, they can probably be frightening enough to induce mind break, trauma, maybe even death. Despite this, she has been seen running a pharmacy in the human village later on, so maybe she is opening up a little bit at a time. This would make sense given her background as a war refugee. Maybe she herself was driven mad by the fighting on the moon and sought a way out. That's what I like about tiny mysteries like that. There's always something you can consider to fill in the blanks. Alright, so we're close to defeating Ray-sen. What happens next depends on how many times you've beaten the game with your current team. If this is your first go-through, you'll just go through to stage 6 like usual. If you've beaten the game already with this team and reached this point again, you'll have the option of going to an alternate stage 6 and doing stuff there. But for now, let's pretend that the possibility never existed, that all of the doors are sealed, and that the only way to go now is forward.